Hello everyone, how you doing? Now, today I thought I'd share with you 5 tips to help reduce bloating. This is coming from someone, me, who is constantly bloated. I'm sitting here bloated right now. I wake up bloated, I go to bed bloated, but I thought today I would share with you some of the things that help me when I'm bloated and just help me, feel that little bit better. So my first tip is to think about what you're eating. Now, this is something that has helped me massively, and avoiding certain foods that give me a lot of grief has given me a lot of relief. For me personally, something that I did is that I noticed that there were certain foods that weren't agreeing with me because I started doing my own little food diary. So I went to the doctors and they were sort of a bit confused as well, continued to tell me to do a food diary, which I did, and eventually I got referred on to a dietitian and I sort of did some changes to my diet with a proper registered dietitian. So for me personally, by doing a food diary, I realised that the likes of gluten and wheat, onions, garlic, those sort of foods were the things that were really irritating my stomach, and then I realised that they were my triggers. One thing I would say is that you can do a food diary and find out your triggers, but don't start removing foods until you've spoken to your doctor, because they might want to do some tests on you whilst you've still got those foods in your system, so you do have to be really careful with that as well. So yeah, just consider what you're eating and consider what might be triggering your bloating. My second tip, and something that has really helped me, the holy grail in my opinion, is peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is my life. Whenever I feel slightly uncomfortable and I've got some bloating, I go straight to the cupboards, get my peppermint tea bags out and have a peppermint tea. I think there are so many good things about it. For one thing, hot water in your stomach, it just sort of soothes it, just a bit like a hot water bottle. It makes me feel like warm and nice, and it seems to help in that way. And secondly, there's something just amazing about peppermint. I don't know what it is, but it really helps with my bloating. It helps my stomach go down. It helps with any sort of excess gas that I've got. It helps me release it, to be fair. And that is just such a good thing. And if, like me, you don't really like the taste of it, because I didn't like the taste of peppermint tea for a very long time, force yourself to have it. I did. I forced myself solidly to have it every day for 6 weeks, and it changed my life. I have it all the time now. I have it even when I'm not bloated. Just to start the day, have a peppermint tea, and I think it really just sorts yourself out, really. My next tip number 3, is to not eat too much, and not eat too much too fast. Now, if you were in a rush in the morning and you feel like, well, I've got to have breakfast, obviously breakfast is really important, never skip meals, but don't wolf it all down really quickly. Find a way of doing it differently, like getting up earlier in the morning, or if you're in a rush to get out of the house and you've woken up late, we all do that sometimes. Take some food with you and have it when you've got a bit of time to just sit and relax. Also, I find eating when standing up a terrible thing. Like, you just need to sit, relax, and then enjoy your food, take your time, and definitely, the whole thing of not eating too much is so important. Don't get it so that you're so ridiculously full because you've really enjoyed something. Eat until you're satisfied, even if there's still half the plate there. Like, let's say you go around for dinner at someone's house and they've cooked you a really nice meal and they've filled up your plate really full. Don't feel that because they've spent so much time doing it that you have to eat it all, because you're just going to make yourself feel awful. Or that's what I've done it so many times, where I felt like obliged to eat every scrap on my plate, and it tasted delicious, so I wanted to, but then afterwards you feel really naff. So make sure you give yourself enough time to eat. So basically, turning that around on its head, instead of eating lots and getting too full, which is not good, just eat small meals and eat them more often. Just eat regularly, whenever you can, just have a little snack. Always have little snacks in your bag. Really useful, really helpful. Yeah, small and often. That has been like a lifesaver for me. So my next tip is to avoid being constipated at all costs. And I know that this is something easier said than done. Trust me, I don't really want to give myself this title, but I am the queen of constipation, and I know how bad it can be. And there are little things that you can change in your diet and in your just lifestyle and everyday life that can help with that. So for instance, just making sure that you do some exercise. I'm not talking super intense exercise, I'm not talking doing loads of weights and tons of miles cardio. You don't need to do marathons. Just going for a walk can really help that. And alongside that, just something really simple that every doctor in the whole universe will ever tell you. Make sure that you're getting enough fluid on board you, because so often it's the case that we're too busy in our lives and we sometimes forget to drink. I have had many jobs where I have sat at my desk all day and I've been busy, typing, and then it gets towards the end of the day, you realise you haven't had a drink. Water just helps things move. Think about a river, things flow with water. So it kind of does make sense. And another thing that is really important is the whole fibre thing. Making sure that you have enough fibre in your body, that you're consuming enough fibre in your diet, but the right sorts of fibre. So for me, as someone with a really dodgy gut, there are certain types of fibre that don't agree with me. And I know that different people have different guts and you can't tolerate certain bits of fibre, different foods and stuff, and you need to find out what's right for you. This is something that, you know, is kind of difficult to know yourself sometimes, so it might be best to go and speak to like a dietitian or whatever. But there is definitely a thing where having a good source of fibre in your diet is definitely going to help with those constipation issues, you would hope. And my final tip is something that I'm kind of taking from sciencey people who say that probiotics and prebiotics are great things to have inside you to help with bloating. So if you didn't know, I've learnt this quite well now. Probiotics are healthy gut bacteria and prebiotics are things that feed the healthy gut bacteria so that they kind of work better. And a lot of the time people think that you can only get prebiotics and probiotics in sort of like a tablet form or a supplement and stuff, but that's really not the case. There are so many different like ways that you can get them into your body. Just with the food that you're eating, the food that you buy in the supermarket and put on your plate, there are things that are naturally high in probiotics and prebiotics or are like a natural probiotic or prebiotic themselves. So you definitely should like have a look at what foods are naturally high in these or are prebiotic, probiotic, blah, blah, blah. You can tell I'm not a sciencey person really. And also there are obviously the whole sort of tablet forms of both that you can get in, you know, health food shops and wherever else. For instance, with me, I take a prebiotic like little tablet every morning and every evening. And that for me personally has really, really helped with my gut health. It's helped with my constipation, which in turn helps with your bloating. And yeah, for me, that's a massive thumbs up, and I'm so, so happy that I discovered prebiotics. So from a personal perspective, I would say that they're great things to help with bloating. And from the sciencey people's perspective, all those clever people who I listen to and am really impressed with their knowledge, they say also that prebiotics and probiotics are really good. But maybe just go and ask someone, some professional out there who can kind of help you know what might be best for you or how you should take them. So those were my 5 tips, but I would like to know your tips for reducing bloating. Obviously, I've got these tips so you would think that my bloating doesn't exist. You are so wrong. My bloating is always there. They just help me sometimes and it's nice when they do, but if you've got any others that I can add to my list, then maybe I'll be less bloated more often, who knows. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, go check out my Instagram page, and as I said, leave your comments below on all the bloating stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!